that I just met, but we're acting like we go back. It's 3 a.m., but we ain't done yet, trying our best to make it last. Freedom running through us like an open. We're too high on being young, and there's still to race. We've got the rest of our lives for the rest of our lives, and the rest of tonight for whatever feels right.
Hello, everybody. I'm Larry Ridley, and this is the NFL.
All right, Larry, thank you. We are in the Pacific Northwest as we get set for football at CenturyLink Field here in Seattle. Straight ahead, a rematch of Super Bowl 48, and it should be a good one, between the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. This one taken just inside the 10. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. And trotting onto the field is Trevor Siemian to lead this offense. And it's hard to believe, Charles, that Denver, they're going to start their defense of the Super Bowl title with a quarterback who has never thrown a pass in the NFL.
You talk about something that's really unusual in the NFL? We're going to see that with Trevor Siemian beginning the season. But remember, the Broncos have maybe the best defense in the league. So they feel confident that if Trevor Siemian goes out and plays to his strengths, poise, great character, confidence in himself, and throws the ball better than what people believe, right? I've seen this kid throw it since high school. He can sling it around pretty well. But they do all those things, and if he takes care of the ball, he'll play to his best strengths, and that is relying on his defense and his kicking game.
And the big boys up front, they're going to stop him right at the line. No gain on the play, and it'll bring up a third down. An early test, 2 plays in. This is 3rd and 2. They'll run it. Here's Anderson. And he is going to lose yardage here. He loses 4, and it brings up 4th. Here's Riley Dixon now. Back deep for the Seahawks, the All-Pro returner from 2015, Tyler Lockett. And wow, fortunately, he was able to get it back, but it's left his guys in a bit of a hole here. They're backed up deep to start this drive.
I know there's no magnet in the ball, but sometimes for the punt returner, after such a scramble, it sort of feels that way, doesn't it? He has it, he loses it, somehow the ball finds its way back to him.
Atone for his sin, and you know he's taking a deep sigh of relief right now. Oh, he's got a little daylight. He's at the 50. He's at the 30. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Thomas rolls an even 90 yards. And the Seahawks have taken a first quarter lead. Well, from back where that one started, they were hoping probably for just a few yards on the ground there. Instead, they get 90-plus and into the end zone.
And as much credit as I have to give the guys on offense, I often think when I see a run of that magnitude that there has to have been a mistake made, maybe even multiple mistakes on defense, because you're expecting them to run the ball from that stage of the field. Instead, it turns into one of the longest runs that we're going to see in the NFL.
And he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. Now this Broncos offensive unit ready to head back out onto the field. And the last drive, their first drive, 3 and out. What changes here, if anything?
I think it's making sure the guys that you trust the most with the ball, the biggest playmakers you have, that they touch it on this possession to try and get things moving.
So get it to the horses. He's got a man, complete. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. A huge play there for Denver. And even 40 yards.
He's come a long way since his time at Georgia Tech. What did he run at Tech? He ran hitches and go routes, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, but he ran them really well. He averaged well over 20 yards a catch while he was there. And he still creates downfield in the NFL. That big body and that willingness to go catch the football. He's pretty impressive.
And his friends call him Bebe, the nickname his uncle gave him back in the day. The Seahawks, here's their defensive lineup.
Michael Bennett is one of the best pass-rushing defensive linemen in the game. Normally plays defensive end, but when they go to those nickel packages and he works inside, look out, offensive guards. You've got a problem.
So the offense now dealing with a 2nd and 7. Simeon. Green with a catch left side. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs. So they're operating in the red zone.
Coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end, let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
Yeah. And time was able to survey the field and find a soft spot in that zone coverage.
And that's where it gets difficult for a defender, Brandon. You go to your spots on the field that you have to cover, and when the offense finds an area that you're not in, that's where they throw the football.
No gain on the play that time, and it sets up 2nd and goal.
Well, it's been the air game that's taken them down on this drive before they finally turned around and handed it off on the last play.
And now they're looking for the big boys to get him in the end zone. Couldn't do it there.
It'll be interesting to see. Offensive lines had to pass block a lot on this drive. Will they be able to revert and fire out and create some space in the run game? It's a tried-and-true formula, and I don't think it'll change for as long as we play football. If someone's trying to throw the ball and you can put pressure on them and make it tough, that's only going to help your defense.
Yeah, he's since being hurried. He got rid of it before taking the hit, but incomplete. Looking for Green, and it's intercepted. It's the Pro Bowl cornerback, Richard Sherman. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. And Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And they hit the home run last drive. One play on the ground all the way to the house. Now the defense, maybe they're expecting a run here.
Partner, I love your description because when we talk about hitting the home run,
and got his man complete. And they finally take him down, but not before he reaches the 43. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball. Well, this is what happens when you get behind the chains, as people like to say, when you have obvious passing situations. Hard to vary it up and fool a defense.
And you hate those situations if you're an O-lineman, right?
Oh, without a doubt, because you just know they're coming, and you never know exactly how. They can be exotic in their blitzes, or their athletic ability just takes over. They didn't get the 1st down, but I have to say I do like the call. I like what they were trying.
Keep him short of the 1st. Go offense now set.
Don't worry about the other part. You can't get that back. Let's go back to what you were doing well before.
I thought you were going to say they need to have no memory, but remember the good part, forget the bad.
I like that even better.
On 2nd down, Anderson. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll set up a 3rd down.
C.J. Anderson may not be a Pro Bowl runner, but he knows how to run big in big games.
Yeah, he sort of sealed the Super Bowl for them in the 4th quarter. Big game against the Patriots last year on a Monday night, but only 720 yards. Back alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's Bronco football to begin quarter number 2. They've got a 3rd down and 5 to start things out.
Here we go now. Green 39. Green 39.
Now Simeon. It's caught. He finds Norwood. Yeah, he will get the 1st down as he's up to the 20-yard line. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks. So here we go, 1st and 10 now.
And Brandon, from our time in college football, where receivers weren't running the traditional NFL route tree, one thing they did learn, find open areas, find soft spots, and set up and catch the ball. And I think we just saw that there.
Yeah, we saw that indeed, picking up the 1st.
Absolutely love the run right there. This guy's known for his quickness, but also for his speed. And he's able to get to the second level almost before you blink if you give him any type of blocking. I always talk about slot receivers. They're usually known as quicker than fast. In this case, we've got a guy who's quick and fast, and he used it to great advantage.
It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
Partner, we're into the second quarter, and I guess you can kind of look at it both ways. The offense, they've got to figure out what they're going to do because they haven't scored any points. But if you're the defense, you're feeling great about what you got going on. The only concern you have, if you get to the half, what adjustments will the offense make to try to defeat you?
They'll lose a yard, and it brings them third.
But there's another example of why they haven't scored any points so far. I think it's time to abandon the run game, spread things out, and go to the air. It certainly can't be any worse than what they've done so far.
On third down, he'll drop to throw. Drops it underneath for Booker. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. It'll be a gain of 9, and that'll bring up fourth down. Here's Riley Dixon now. On for his second punt. He'd take a repeat of his first. 33 yards is the distance on the punt there. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. The Seattle offense now set to come back out on the field. And a tight game after punting last spot.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play. There's so many times during camp and practice that you get bored as a player doing regular drills. But how about that shed and skate drill right there by the linebacker? You do it each and every day. Get the blocker away and get into the backfield and make a big-time tackle. That's what we just saw. Similar to a slam, it's all about timing when you're throwing a crossing route. Quarterback and receiver have to be in sync, and when they put it on them just right and catch it full speed, running through a defense, can often result in a big pickup of yardage.
It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down.
The emergence of Thomas Rawls out of Central Michigan, chalk one up for the scouting department of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year averaged 5.6 yards per attempt. Most of the NFL, of course, said he had that nasty ankle injury.
Well, he's back healthy and looking like the Thomas Rawls we saw in 2015.
They got 18 yards out of that one, and it gets him a new set of downs.
I do have to admit, I like it when it all comes together. When the top part, catching the football, right, whether you're catching it with your hands or cradling it, comes together with the legs, in this case the feet, doing a little toe tap to stay in bounds and complete the catch.
And a great job by our crew on the camera shot. Love when you see the grass or on the field turf, those rubber pellets flying up. Great catch.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands.
Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player, you threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup.
Second and goal from the 1. On the ground, Rawls. They hold him again, and now all of a sudden it's 3rd and goal at the 1. Rawls. And he will take this one in for the Seattle touchdown. Thomas Rawls with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half. And the Seahawks... Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. And always a good first half when you can hit pay dirt twice.
And it never hurts to have that good feeling as the game moves on. Just think about halftime. If that's all he gets, he'll just sit there at the half and think, all right, 2 already. I can get some more. I can get some more. And he'll be encouraging his offensive line to create some space.
So the Broncos coming out now. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here? The punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut him, all right? So you've got to go out and create some offense for us here and give us some points. No way does that guy get on the field on this drive.
Poor punter.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. But hey, listen, there's got to be casualties at times. We're trying to win a game.
Now let's go. 3-19.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver. And that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12. And now we're circling here around the 2-minute warning.
This is a setup play, trying to get one last one in before the clock warning.
A play-action fake. They'll look to throw. He's going to loft this one deep left. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. And all the way home for a Broncos score. Demaryius Thomas, 77 yards. On here, Brandon McManus for the point after. And now it's blocked. Now it's scooped up, and this is a live football. But he will not be able to bring this one.
I need your help on this one. We just saw an extra point blocked. Do you think the rain had anything to do with it getting blocked?
Yeah, everything goes a little bit slower, but I'll tell you what, the snap and the hold, they look good.
Yeah, and most of the time, look when you bring that up about it getting slower. It's deliberate when it gets slower, right? Because you have to go through it a little bit more. You want to be just a little bit more careful. Catching the ball, putting it down, and giving him a chance to kick it.
And a pretty slick return. 5-yard line.
Illegal block in the back. Return team. Automatic first down.
Go, go, go.
Mike 51. Mike 51.
Well, throw on first down with Wilson. And left side here, it's Graham. They'll give him a yard on the play, and it'll make it 2nd down. And good to see Jimmy back out there moving okay after the ruptured patella in Week 12 last year. You've dealt with that injury, haven't you?
I have, and let me tell you, you know that expression, I feel your pain? I felt Jimmy's when it happened. Now, mine didn't happen quite the same way his did. His happened in the line of duty. He was playing in a game. For me, I was just coaching. And went up to try and catch a pass. I think for me, it was just mainly age. For him, he was actually playing.
But good to see him back out there healthy. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield. And you just know when that play call came in, their eyes lit up because anytime you get a chance to take a big shot downfield, that's a lot of fun, and they missed an opportunity.
He's going to try and go deep again. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. The intended target, Doug Baldwin. And it'll be 3rd and 10 now.
There's no shyness there pushing the ball downfield, but I like the coverage on the play in good position. And when you have a 50-50 ball, who's going to come down with it? I like the way they made the play, came across, and knocked it away.
On 3rd down, Wilson. And he locates Luke Wilson. And they're able to convert on 3rd with a solid gain of 23.
And that catch there by Luke Wilson goes for a first down, and he's really developed and come on. Now, remember, Jimmy Graham, who was expected to be the key tight end for Russell Wilson, he was hurt most of 2015. Luke Wilson really jumped his game up.
And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
That was a classic example of trying to run with the ball without securing the catch. He was thinking about those rack yards instead of making the catch first and then taking off.
On on second down. Rolls. And some room to work. Give him 30 yards there. A really nice carry there by the fullback.
Being a priority free agent. And boy, what a rookie season he had. Partner, you know how often we hear about the red zone, right? From the 20-yard line going in, that scoring zone, getting points on the board. A lot of teams call from the 10-yard line in the green zone. That's your money zone. He fumbles the ball inside the money zone. You have one job to
bullshit.
That didn't happen.
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. And you see the clock almost empty, so this is likely the last play in the second quarter. So we have reached halftime with a touchdown. That's the difference on the scoreboard. As we send you cross-country to our EA Sports Studios in Orlando with our halftime report, here's Larry Ridley.
Thanks, Brandon, and welcome to the EA Halftime Report. Let's take a look back at the first half. The Seahawks are happy to be in front, and they'll look to play another solid half.
Okay, well, so much for the halftime report here. The guy can't even finish his Snickers. We're going to get right to the third quarter. Let me spit this out. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And the decision to come out is going to cost him 5 yards with a new rule as he's taken down right at the 20-yard line. And out now come the Seahawks. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
Let's see if they do just that.
So much for halftime adjustments by the defense because you know they had to talk about it. The entire first half, they struggled to contain him. And here he is coming out in the second half and establishing the same tone. Still running the football with authority, still gaining big yardage. So I just figure in the offensive side, they said well, there is no adjustment. Until they slow us down, keep going at them, keep handing them the football.
And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down. Will the defense dial up the pressure? Let's down.
Well, the advantage has certainly shifted to the defense as we began that third down play, and they found a way to foil it and pick up a first down.
Third time's a charm, right? 2 incompletions. Had to have it on third, and they got it.
Yeah, they stuck with it, weren't daunted at all, and picked it up.
And nowhere really to go there. He'll take this up just shy of midfield.
Holding offense. Still first down.
They go play action here on first down. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. Okay, that incompletion gives me some time to pick the brain of Charles Davis as we're on the cusp of the NFL season. What do you see some themes, some...
The runners are not back in the game. I think we're in a running back renaissance. Take a look at what we saw in preseason. The 49ers were the leading rushing team in the NFL. How about the Tennessee Titans? They want to be physical and run it. DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry, they're going to do that. Carolina, Seattle, you know they're run-first type teams. Then let's go ahead and look at defenses. Defense is not out of the game. Denver won it last year on defense. Carolina got there in large part because of their defense. That's going to be a key to everything.
15 yards through the air and a first down.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. Again,
this is caught inside the 15. It's a big play there for the Broncos. 37 yards. Yeah, he's got their only touchdown. This offense struggling. They target him again.
Everyone is looking for the hot hand, and sometimes you just don't have it. Maybe it's just lukewarm. but you go to that guy and try and turn it hot. Try and get things going.
Looking for Sanders, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the Pro Bowl safety Cam Chancellor. And he'll be brought down at his own 10-yard line. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And following the interception, we'll see what they can put together on this drive.
I can hear my old college coach right now. He always used to tell us before every game, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. What they're hoping is that that last mistake is their only one of the game.
Coaches, that's all they talk about, turnovers, right?
Minimizing those and maximizing opportunities.
And, partner, a little off script for a second. I know you had a blast like I did with the college games this past weekend, but now that's behind us. It's time for the regular season of the NFL. Feels good, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Goodbye to Labor Day. I put away my white shoes.
Thankfully.
Yes, because, you know, that's the rule, right?
That's the rule.
And now we look ahead to the regular season, and what an opener we've got. A Super Bowl rematch. Yeah, I know. Cam Newton said don't call it a rematch. But it is to us, the Carolina Panthers at the Denver Broncos. Cam's coming to town, and Trevor Siemian's quarterbacking the Denver Broncos.
A lot of other good ones, too. Giants, Cowboys. Be interesting to see what Dak does. Good to have the NFL regular season back.
Okay, I'm not sure you could actually draw up a better pass rush than that one right there. Nowhere to go outside. He had to keep backing up and backing up and backing up. Eventually dropped for a huge loss.
Looking for Baldwin, intercepted. Picked off by Akeem Talib. And his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line. And now the Broncos offense, they get set to head back onto the field. And they had a nice little drive going last time. Threw the interception in the red zone. Costly.
Bad enough to throw it anywhere, but that drives coaches insane when they're thinking about, hey, we got a shot at points already. We're already in a spot where you're thinking you got 3 on the board for sure, and to come away with nothing, that's a really tough one for them to swallow.
Yeah, will they make up for it?
Here we go now. Green 39.
Now Simeon. And he's got it complete to Fowler. And he'll go down at the 28. That one good for 10 yards. And that is going to set up a 3rd and 1. So it is 3rd down now, but less than a yard to go.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
And that is incomplete. Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver. And that's going to make it 4th down. Now Brandon McManus for the Bronco field goal. Spotted at the left hash, this from 45. Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked.
This weather. All right, the rain probably is going to help you because so many things can go wrong for the guys trying to kick the ball. It's as simple as maybe you just lose your footing. You kind of spin out like a tire in the snow, not getting traction, and you create a space and someone comes through.
And I think for everybody, snapper, holder, kicker, everything slows down maybe a fraction of a second. And a fraction of a second and a field goal try, that can be all the difference.
I love how you described that. Everything slows down, but it's a deliberate slowdown, isn't it?
Yep.
Because everyone's trying to be more careful and more deliberate to make sure it's executed.
And after the play on the ground, that brings up 2nd down here. A fake to Rawls. Now it's Wilson. He's got time. He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. Jared Crick coming hard that time. He's able to run him down for a loss of 12. Off the play fake to Rawls. Wilson. Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble. Call it luck or skill, whatever the case is, they're feeling good about just keeping the football there.
Yeah, the biggest thing that they're calling it now, our ball. I mean, they don't get...
And they're going to fake it from deep in their own territory. And this is incomplete. A huge gamble, and it does not pay off.
Anytime a fake doesn't work, we usually focus our attention on the guys that were unsuccessful. But how about the defensive guys? They have to plan all week. They have to prepare all week. Special teams, they look like they were educated for that one.
Educated on their toes. And he's wrapped up, taken down, back at the 25. They'll wind up losing 3 there on the sack. Good pressure, and it's second down. Back now in Seattle, Washington. It's the Broncos trailing, but they do have possession of the football as we begin quarter number 4. Simeon. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. Virgil Green is tied in, the intended receiver. And it'll be a third and about 13.
A nickel look by Seattle on third down.
Yep, 5 defensive backs now. The play-action fake. They'll look to throw. Finding time. Going to throw deep for the end zone. And that is caught. Touchdown, Denver. Demaryius Thomas, his second touchdown of the night. And the Broncos are an extra point away from tying the football game. And, partner, they found a gap there on the post pattern, and it was in the middle third of the field.
And that's really difficult to do because ordinarily the safeties are back there to prevent that happening. But they found the opening and exploited it.
So here comes the kickoff now, all even here in this fourth quarter. Tyler Lockett now with a return. Oh, nice move. And there's a flag on the play. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line.
Illegal block in the back. Return team. Automatic first down.
The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And last time this unit was out here, costly turnover, and then that turned into 6 points. They've got to make amends.
And how many times have we sat in meetings with coaches and they use the term complementary football? Offense take care of the defense, defense take care of the offense. That didn't happen on the last possession. This is a chance for them to pick themselves back up and help their team.
Yeah, we'll see if they can recoup and recover.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48. It'll be a 2-yard gain, and it'll make it a second down.
The goal of a wide receiver screen is get enough blockers in front to create a wall and let him pick his spot to run the football. How about the defense there, swarming to it and not allowing that to happen? Did not let him get downfield.
He's got his man on the crossing route. And he's going to be taken down deep into Bronco territory. A big play there on the catch and run. 37 yards.
That was a nice pickup, some chunk yardage there. Some of those big yards downfield with a little bit of rack thrown in there, a little run after catch, and it came on a crossing route. I can just hear one of my friends who won 4 Super Bowls as a quarterback always said the same thing. What route does the defense hate? They can build a little bit off of that play, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum. Yeah, every now and then you can actually tackle that guy.
Throwing is Wilson. And he's got it. Caught in the end zone for the Seahawk touchdown. Luke Wilson, a 15-yard touchdown grab. And the Seahawks are going to take the lead.
That's almost just not right. You cover everybody. But those tight ends, they can be awfully reliable.
Very reliable. Defense just has to hate those guys.
This drives them crazy because oftentimes you can't match up with them. They have you either with size, speed, or maybe even just strength.
And so they run it in on the 2-point try. You know, so often, Charles, we talk about from the offense's perspective what you do on the 2-point conversion. How about the defense? How do they play run versus pass?
It's really difficult for them because I think most teams want to play for the pass. That's what they see most teams do. And so are you able to mass enough people inside if the team decides to run it? Very difficult. I think what you're seeing a lot more now, people blitzing the 2-point conversion. They want you to make a quick decision and make it right now.
There, the offense wins the battle for 2. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Catch here, left side, Thomas. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. It's a gain of 7, and that'll bring up second down.
He decided to run a hitch route. It really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Over the middle this time to Fowler. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
And how about the dime look here? 6 DBs on 3rd and inches.
Daring them to run the ball.
They'll run it now out of the gun. No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up 4th down. And this defense continues to give them fits. They just can't get really anything going on the ground, can they?
I love the theme that you just brought up. This defense has been tough all game long against the run. We just saw another example of it there.
He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Now it's Lockett. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that, they had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Derek Wolfe in there to get him the 6th time they've sacked him tonight.
Well, how about that? A dime set on defense, 6 defensive backs. None of them blitz. They're just back there in coverage. Defensive lineman gets the sack.
That's where the O-line, they go to the sideline, they keep their helmets on so the cameras can't find them, right?
Yeah, the cameras can't find them, but I know one thing. The O-line coach will. I wonder what was going through his mind when he got the play call. He just got sacked on the previous play. He knows they're coming after him again. A little bit of guts to stand in there, take the hit, and successfully complete the screen pass. Really well done.
7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
And that pickup of a 1st down, that's going to leave a mark because they really needed to stop them there, didn't they?
Oh, so frustrating. Defensively, you're a play away from getting that football back here, down late, tough.
Now they've got to find a way to create a turnover or a takeaway. Otherwise, this one will probably get away from them.
So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. First down, this is Rawls. And he loses the football a 2nd time. Now the Broncos are going to take a timeout. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. So they almost turn it over there. Scary moment. 2nd down here. They come out here in the eye. Another run, but this time it's Rawls. And he'll cut it out to this. There goes Thomas Rawls. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Thomas Rawls, 54 yards. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead.
Well, it'd be real easy to say that they are firmly in control right now, but I'm looking at your face and I'm thinking I've got to be careful with that.
Well, it's a 2-score game. You're inside of 2 minutes. I think you can breathe relatively easily now.
Yeah, you can, but still, you got to stay vigilant. Can't give up anything cheap and easy. That could put you in some jeopardy.
And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Broncos offense now gets ready to head back onto the field. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
Now Simeon. Screen play, Anderson. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that's going to lead to a 3rd and 11. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Now a desperation throw deep. He's got a man, complete. The 20, 10, 5, and all the way home for a Broncos score. Devontae Booker, 76 yards. And the Broncos draw a bit closer.
And they put it in the end zone, which was job 1. Now they have to convert. And then it's decision time, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is what all teams go through. You look at the clock, you're inside 2 minutes, look at your timeouts, make that onside kick decision.
Yeah, how do you feel about your defense, where you are in terms of the scoreboard, and the time left on the clock, as you noted, so many things to go through.
Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. It'll be a loss of a yard, and they'll be facing a 3rd and 12.
But that certainly felt like an example of a defense just saying, okay, we've had enough. We've gotten mashed all night long. About time we got a good play in. But flip it over to the offensive side. They've got to be really upset that they allowed a play like that to happen. They were pitching such a great game, they want to keep it going.
A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th. Here's John Ryan now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. Out of bounds and close. The question, was it a touchback? No. They'll say it crossed out at the 2-yard line. And coming out now, the Broncos. One possession game. Time very much a factor. How does the offense handle this situation?
Well, in a lot of cases, they should be somewhat relaxed. And I know that's counterintuitive because this is a pressure situation. But this is Friday practice every week of the season. You go over this situation, having to go downfield, limited timeouts, got to get out of bounds and keep the drive going and set yourself up. Defensively, you can't just lay back and let them do whatever they want. So it is a cat and mouse deal here. How much pressure will the defense bring, and how much pressure can the offense handle?
We're going to find out.
Good. It's
This
GG.
infraction's going to be against
That's
the offense.
cool.
False start.
Sometimes you have to get up to the line of scrimmage, make sure your team is set before you begin your cadence.
Good night, it's 2 a.m. Laugh. Oh, okay, laugh.
Back to throw. He's going to let it fly. And this will be incomplete. 1 second left to go.
And when all else fails as a defender, when you're not there in the coverage, your best friend is exactly what we saw there. A big play shot taken by the offense. Unfortunately, it ended in a big drop.
He'll look to throw. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And, oh, a crusher there as it's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And that will write a finish